Hi guys, welcome back to the Black Sheep Meadow. I'm Amber.
And I'm Brent.
And today we're going to go over kind of some of the prep work and the passion that goes into making your garden better this year than it was last year.
So let's talk about the passion for the homesteading thing. I think that's something that we've always had for a long time, well before we even had this property. We've always wanted to, grow and do our own things on our, be self-sufficient on our own property.
Even outside of property and food, we've always been very self-sufficient people.
But I think our passion this year is to make this season better than it was last.
Yep.
I think that is our motto for the year.
For the year, make it a little bit better. And the whole 80% thing, we'll go into that just a little bit. I don't know if we've explained it, but Brent's going the 80% of our own food. He's going off of weight because I think for a minute he had me confused.
It's the best way of measuring.
It's the best way of measuring it to make it simple numbers instead of trying to say, well, 80% of this meal and 80% of that meal was from the homestead. We're going to go off of weight and the average amount of weight that a person consumes.
Correct.
So we can take into account we were able to produce 4,000 pounds of food.
Correct. And so there's some factors with that too. So the average, and I'm just going by national averages, that the average person consumes 5 pounds of food every single day. Now everybody's diet's different. How much one person burns in calories is different. Obviously we're doing a lot of calorie burning on the homestead. We're moving a lot of weight, doing stuff, extraordinary physical activities continuous throughout the day. However, the 4,000 pounds is a target for me. And of course, so there's 2 of us, that'd be 10 pounds of food a day, 3,650 pounds of food per year. I think 80% of that 3,650 pounds of food per year is something like 2,750. I don't remember. I got it written down in one of my books. However, I'm looking at producing 4,000 pounds of food. Now, the math for me on that is of course, let's say we produce 1,000 pounds of potatoes. Well, we're shelling off 10% of those potato skins right off the potato.
Roughly, right.
When the chickens produce an egg, I'm not eating the eggshell.
Right.
So that's...
Not that we're not going to use those byproducts.
Correct, yeah. Everything gets consumed or used one way or another here on the homestead, whether it's compost or refeeding the chickens or however. But
he's accounting for the waste, and it makes a lot of sense. So if we can produce 4,000 pounds of food, then legitimately we could sustain 80% of ourselves on our homestead.
Correct.
So not necessarily like we're not going to eat somebody's birthday cake and count that against us.
Correct.
We're trying to see if we can produce enough food to sustain us.
Correct.
And it's a lot of work. So today that's what we're doing. We're
just today. So I did a video here for y'all. It's probably going to be 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, where I started on some of our container garden for spring 2023, and I started doing the math and looking at how much weight we're actually moving. Every time I go pick up a scoop in the bucket of the tractor, that's 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 pounds worth of compost or topsoil, and I look at it and I'm like, all right, well, we're on our 8th bucket just for filling our garden containers, not even to mention our potato mounds, our onion beds are in the regular garden, and so on.
So today that's kind of what we're doing. We're kind of assessing everything. We're doing some housekeeping.
Correct.
We've got our new barn, which we haven't gone over with you guys yet, but we plan to in the future. So you'll get a little bit of an idea on that in this video.
We'll touch base on it today.
But we really want to make a video just about the barn because we learned some things having that built.
Correct.
That might be helpful to somebody else building a barn.
We were very fortunate and got a good contractor.
We got an amazing contractor. Yeah. He was very good with us. He was very knowledgeable. So
gave us a lot of ideas that we weren't thinking about.
A lot of ideas. So that's kind of what we're doing today. We're moving stuff around. We're reorganizing. We're assessing the amount of compost, wood chips, soil that we have still, how much we project we're still going to need. We need to put together the carrot bed that's going to be done just like the onion bed.
Our garden towers, we're going to be growing strawberries and garden towers this year.
Yes.
And we need to start filling those, getting those prepared.
We're doing some towers. We're also doing a couple little towers. I don't normally plant a lot of flowers. I do cactus, but I don't normally do a lot of flowers. But this year I'm going to purposely try to bring in some to try to attract more of the pollinators.
And of course we're going to have the bees
We have the bees. So now I'm like, okay, I want my bees happy. So I want to grow some stuff that'll keep them happy and fed and cross-pollinate pollinate or not cross-pollinate, but pollinate
Pollinate.
our stuff. So it's a twofold thing. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of flowers in some of the towers that I can, move around, and that'll be new for me. That'll be more of a experiment. But we're also doing a lot of companion planting
Correct.
this year. So we've done some companion planting in the past, but this year we're really trying to focus on it. Last year and the year before, we battled squash vine borers.
And that's going to be a battle. I don't even think companion planting is going to stop those evil little critters.
But hopefully we're going to try.
We can say last year we got production off of our squash, but ultimately every one of our squash plants failed due to squash vine borer.
Right, like we were able to harvest some, but they were drastically stunted because of the squash vine borers.
Correct, but we try to not chemical farm.
Right.
We're not organic, right?
No.
Because we do use synthetic fertilizers, but I do not like the idea of chemicals being on my produce where I have to wash my food off before I can eat it.
Right.
That's just not a...
We're trying more of the more natural approach
yep.
to trying to prevent some of that. So I've been looking and reading a lot on the companion planting with our squash plants in the container. So we're really going to focus on doing some of that this year.
And I think, too, the best way to target these squash vine borers is multiple directions. So we're going to try the aluminum foil on the stems.
Right.
And we're going to try the companion planting.
The companion planting in the buckets with
Correct.
them. We're going to, try to monitor it. If you guys have any tips or tricks, if you guys have battled squash vine borers.
Super windy today. I don't know if
Hopefully the wind
microphone's going to get it off.
Hopefully the wind isn't too bad in the microphone. We apologize. But winter is on its way.
Correct.
Finally, at the end of January, where it looks like the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some pretty cold, wintry weather.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're trying to do a lot of it today. I'm going to refresh the chicken coop so that they have a nice, fresh, thick bedding for the cold weather that's coming in the next couple of weeks.
And then as soon as the rain's done, it'll probably be time to clean it out again.
Yes, of course it will.
The chickens spend a lot more time in the coop area rather than out in the run.
When it's that cold and rainy.
Correct.
They still go out, but they definitely spend a lot more time inside, so it increases
the manure load.
load.
Yeah, the manure load gets really, really heavy really quick.
So I try to kind of plan it out. Like normally I would have cleaned it up last weekend, but I knew the cold weather was coming, so I'm like, okay, I'll wait till the middle of this week where it's fresh for them to be in there for longer periods of time. What else are we doing? We're moving the fuel tank.
Yeah, we're going to move the fuel tank to the new barn today.
Yep. Well, so we've got a lot. We're going to take you guys along and see how this goes.
Yep.
And we will touch back with you when we get done.
Yep.
Chicken coop hack. Cheap dollar store sift to put out diatomaceous earth before you put your shavings down. Other thing to help with bugs, lavender essential oil, peppermint essential oil. I put it on the actual roost that they sit on, and then I dribble it around the nesting boxes. Very helpful for keeping pest, lice, bugs off of your girls, and it also helps the smell. It smells lovely. Watch out, baby girl. That's it. She's all done.
All right, so we just dumped this load of compost here. I need to make this potato mound probably about twice, if not close to 3 times the size that it currently is. I'm concerned about how much of this compost that I have left. I'm running out.
Right.
And so as you can see on this little ridge or this little mound here, I started blending some not quite completed compost, but I also mixed some straw or hay in with it. This is our hay out of our pasture. If y'all been following our videos, y'all know several times I mentioned it's non-herbicided hay. So I'm gonna have to do something to make the material that I have go as far as we possibly can.
So we might be able to mix in some hay into
We're going to
this.
mix in some hay into this, and actually as our potatoes, we're going to hill them using a hay method. We've seen several stories,
Right.
success stories on that, where as the potatoes start to come out of the earth, we're just going to cover them with straw.
As the plant comes up, you just
Yeah.
keep kind of mounding the dirt on top of it,
So-
every week or so, right?
Correct, yep.
But yeah, this potato mound is going to get it's going to grow before spring.
And you think about it,
Or before
we
February.
still want to use this stuff for the sweet potato beds and the carrots.
Yep, which are 2 beds that we still have yet to make. So we're definitely running short on soil. But
Well, I think we can probably make what we have. We're going to have to find ways to stretch what we have this year.
right,
Our other 2 compost piles are just not going to be ready for this spring. There's no way that they're going to complete fast enough to achieve what we want to achieve.
right. And the tip is that potatoes need to be in the ground, are supposed to be in the ground by President's Day, which is February 20th.
For our zone. For
our zone.
Growing zone 8B. The guys up north, and actually the folks down in Florida, they might have already planted already.
Right.
Or even down in the southern part of Texas.
Right. So we have February 20th is our goal of planting our potatoes. So we have less than a month to get our bed the way we want it before we plant our potatoes. So we have a lot of work to do here still. So this is something you're going to see often over the next month.
Yeah. So let's get our chicken brooder box put up.
Let's go.
So the brooder box storage idea above the tool room did work out. However, my rack for my forks is a little too tall for the ceiling of the barn. So I'm probably gonna have to put a pallet on the forks next time to get the brooder box down. That's okay though, it's out of my way for right now. Alrighty guys, that pretty much concludes another day here at Black Sheep Meadow.
Yes.
We want to thank y'all for watching along. Like, subscribe, ring the bell,
Do all the things.
share it, leave a comment.
We'll see you on the next one.